What did you guys do to create space tonight against Western Michigan? What broke your way? It was 19-19 at one point. You guys made this a runaway.
We just had to get that stop, score, stop mentality. They were really hot coming out. So we had to make that second and third extra efforts to disrupt their energy, to disrupt their rhythm, making sure, their catches aren't easy, where the ball screen coverages were good, guards couldn't come downhill. And, just bringing up our energy. I feel like the energy was kind of even. If not, they had a little more in the beginning, and we ramped ours up, and then we saw the separation, and then I think they hit that wall and they just couldn't overcome it, and then it was just home free for us, and we just kept getting stops, and I'm glad we came out with the win.
What, what,
Dwight, at one point, you guys are up 36-31 with about 2.5 left. Then you go on a 7-0 run. Then soon you're up 12, you're up 17, and then up 20. How big was that 7-0 run to close the half?
I think it was big. I think it stopped their momentum, and I think it crushed them a little bit going into halftime. Um, Biggest thing was the first 4 minutes of the second half, not making it like the first four of the first half, and they came out and Lee had hit some tough shots, hit some threes and some fadeaways, making sure we cut his water off and make sure we didn't let anyone else get going in the first four of the second half. I think that was the biggest thing.
You had a good night offensively, but one stat that really stood out to me about you was you didn't give up a foul. You're playing down low, you're playing a physical game. What goes into playing good defense, but also not putting people on the line?
Um, Mostly just making the catches harder, not letting them catch it on their spots. I think Lee caught it on his spots in the beginning, and he kind of hurt us a little bit. Well, once we disrupted him and not let him just post up or catch it whenever he wanted, I think that's the biggest thing. So, ball pressure is a big key, um, and just knowing how to use, make sure I'm always showing my hands. Me being a big guy, refs tend to call more fouls, if the game starts to get physical. So, just make sure I'm always showing my hands, and if I do foul them, it's with my lower body. The refs can't really see that. So that's usually the biggest thing.
Hey, Mark, could you tell us what it's like to have a guy like Mark Sears who's able to come in off the bench and seemingly get his offense going right away, no matter who you're playing or where you're playing? He plug him in there and things start to happen right away with him. What's it like to have that kind of asset?
He's been a blessing for us, honestly. The maturity, the growth from when he first got here to now is unbelievable. And how he stepped in when JP went out with that hamstring, and he's been rolling ever since. And we need him. He's a good player. He's a good. I think he's starting to get in the flow of our team, how to run our team, how to be a great point guard, knowing when to score, when to pass. So him growing, at the right time where we're trying to get seeding and trying to get these string of games going. And it also helps JP, so that JP doesn't have to play a lot of minutes. He doesn't have to be out there tired. He knows Mark can come in and run the team for him and get some buckets too.
Mark, you guys are so focused in on what you're trying to do and the game in front of you. On a night like tonight, when half the league isn't playing, are you guys aware of that?
Yes.
You,
You said half the league isn't playing.
yeah, there were three games canceled, postponed tonight, and I didn't know if any of that kind of stuff creeps in. And you guys say you appreciate every opportunity you get to play, but then a random Tuesday night and it's a 50-50 coin flip whether a game gets played.
Oh yes. We found out that the two teams we're supposed to play next, Buffalo and
Yeah.
Central, their game got postponed. So I don't know if we'll end up playing Central. We got Buffalo on Friday. They got a few couple days of extra rest. And coach with the rotations today, he was saying load management, just making sure that that the primary starters are fresh for Friday. It's gonna be a double fight. So that was the biggest thing about half the league not playing. The biggest thing is recovery and you know load management, making sure that we can play as hard as we can, as long as we can. We're not playing too many minutes, and not too tired for the next game.
It's the second game in a row that you guys won the rebounding battle. I know that was a big emphasis after the Kent State game. What do you feel like is sort of the main difference right now?
We got more guys going in there, and we got guys stepping up. London has been huge rebounding. Even Ben Roderick, getting in there, snagging some rebounds. Mark will creep in and get some. So I think it's been more of a gang effort, and the focus is not on just one person. It's everybody coming in, crashing, especially on defense, which I think is something that we lacked, especially in the Kent State game. But that's how you put teams away. You got after you block the initial set, get the shot up, we had to end it with a stop. So that was the emphasis of the games coming up, and it's going to be another emphasis against Buffalo, who's also a good rebounding team. So we're going to have to block out extra hard and make that second, third effort to get those 50-50 balls.
Is it more of a mental thing, or is there something different that y'all are doing in practice to sort of hone those skills down even more?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's more mental, though. You have to have that mindset that, I'm going to go in here and get this rebound. Even if I don't get it, I'm going to make sure my man gets it. And I think everyone has, flipped that switch mentally. And that's why, you're seeing the performance from better performances from guys as far as rebounding. And, it's only going to get better. We just have to keep making that the sole purpose of our defense and even offense to, steal us some extra possessions and then limit the other team to one shot. And that's going to be huge, especially come time in the tournament and in March and things like that. We have to control the rebounding battle.
Going well for you guys too. What was it? You guys haven't had too many games where everything kind of fell into place like it did tonight. What does that mean for this club moving forward to get a blowout, and those are tough to come by in conference games, as you know well.
Yeah, especially in the MAC, I feel like 90% of the games are single digits. So to be able to, especially in the second half today, come out and really get a separation away from Western tonight. I think we got up to 20 a couple times. That's always big during MAC play, because especially this year with a couple weeks where we might have to play 3 games, it's good for us to get a lot of guys into the rotation, lower some minutes, and it was just a good start to the second half to help us do that tonight.
What kinds of things did you do to start the second half that maybe you didn't do in the first 6 minutes of the first half on the defensive end?
Yeah, they started off hitting a bunch of shots. I think Lee started with their first 7 points, something like that. Put a little bit more focus on him, just got in our gaps and tried to limit every single possession to one shot. I think we did a pretty good job of that because I think we held them to single digits for a while in the second half. So everybody bought in at halftime, and we came out and just had a great start.
This is a sort of a low profile game for you guys. Was it more of something that's been emphasized lately? Was it the refs just sort of letting you guys play, or what did you feel like went into that?
I missed the first part of that.
Oh, you guys didn't get into foul trouble much tonight.
Oh, I got you.
Like that's something that you've been working on more, or was it just more of a lesser ref game?
Yeah, there's been a couple games where we've gotten into foul trouble. So it's just something that I think individually we all focused on keeping our hands up. The refs did let us play a little bit more tonight, maybe than we usually than they usually let us play. But I think we did a great job of just contesting shots without fouling. A lot of verticality in the lane, just simple things like that. And also just limiting them with their offensive rebounds. There's less possessions, just helps us out with that too.
Hey Ben, could you describe for us the impact of having an instant offense guy off the bench? How does that help a team? I'm referring to Mark Sears, 21 points in 23 minutes, and that's kind of what he's been doing a lot of lately.
Yeah. Mark has been great off the bench. Him and Miles coming in together sometimes. Mark is a great spark offensively. He does a great job of getting to the rim, finding guys, finishing, drawing fouls. And I think when he stepped in for Jay, that really helped his confidence to come in and be able to do that. And then obviously on the other side of the ball, Miles comes in and he just guards everybody. He's a great defender, and that's just another part that people might not notice as much, but it's definitely equally as helpful for us as a team.
You guys got a lot of great looks on 3-pointers, just weren't able to knock down a few. Looking back, is that still sort of like a positive to take from the offense to sort of see how that opportunity was gained? And obviously this team is a good 3-point shooting team, knowing that future reference that you'll probably be able to make that shot.
Yeah, for sure. We got a lot of open looks tonight. I think we finished like low 20s for 3-point, something like that. So obviously didn't shoot it great tonight. But guys like Ben Roderick, we know that he's going to get good looks and he's going to knock them in. It just takes one and he gets going. And yet we'll be able to go back and watch the film and just see what helped us get those open shots. And that's definitely something we can build off of going forward.
What's it say about your team right now, Ben, that you guys shoot 27% from 3? Jason Preston has a season low 6 points, and yet you win by 23 points.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of guys stepping up. Obviously, like you said, Mark came in and was great tonight. Finished, hit some shots. He was really efficient tonight. I think a part of it was Jay's absence for a couple games. Definitely helped the other guys around gain some confidence and know that they can come in and hit shots when they need to. Jay played a great game. He might not have shot great, might not have had as many points as usual, but his impact just everywhere on the court is felt by everyone. So I know that he's going to stay confident. He's going to keep working. He's going to stay aggressive going forward. So yeah, it was a good team effort tonight.
I was going to say, maybe a month ago, if you guys don't hit threes and Jay doesn't do his usual deal in terms of production, that seems like a recipe for a hard game for you guys to win. And yet now it doesn't have to be that way, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the sense you guys are getting to? You're learning how to win more games, I guess, with defense, rebounding, and other guys?
Yeah, I think the rebounding has been a big part of us winning these last 2 games. We've been positive both games with a decent amount of offensive rebounds, and the offensive rebounds are huge. Lundo's been getting in there. DJ's been grabbing them. Mark is getting in there, getting offensive rebounds. It's the offensive boards help us a ton. They just help us get great second opportunities on the offensive side. So on nights like tonight where we might not be hitting shots that we usually hit, those second looks are just what carry us to the win.
What do you think has contributed to this surge in rebounding? Is it something you're doing in practice? Is it a mindset change?
It's just been a focus of ours. The couple games before these last 2, I think we were negative on the rebounding a lot of games in a row. And every time we're in practice in a huddle, every time in a game, Jay's always just telling us rebound. So DJ and I everyone really have been working on just boxing out and gang rebounding on the defensive end, just getting all 5 guys involved, making sure that we get those long rebound 50-50 balls that we weren't getting earlier in the year.
So this is actually the first time that you've been here that you guys have a winning record at any point during conference play. How does that feel to you to, like, after all those years, to finally be able to get have more wins and losses in conference play?
That's funny you asked that. I was just talking to one of our GAs, Connor, about that. I didn't even realize that. That's crazy to me that since I've been here, we haven't had a winning record in conference. It doesn't change a ton for me personally. We're still going to do the same thing. We're still going to come in and prepare. Obviously not going to take the foot off the gas. We're not happy with where we're at right now. We're going to keep pushing, trying to get to the top of the league. But yeah, it's definitely something that it's crazy to me that we've never been in the winning side of things. So it's a great thing, and we're just going to keep it going.
What are we to make of your club on a night when you don't shoot the ball well from 3? Your leading scorer has a season low, and yet you have your biggest margin of victory in a conference game this season. What do you take from that?
I think we have really good balance. Now looking at the Cume stat sheet, I'd imagine we have about 4 or 5 guys in double figures, maybe, averaging points wise. And that's what you want when somebody, JP's had 2 poor shooting nights, but other guys have stepped up. Ben Roderick hit a couple threes in the second half. But, when you got Mark Sears doing what he's doing, Dwight Wilson doing what he's doing, it's not as glaring, when guys don't have good shooting nights.
Coach, you mentioned Dwight. He had a good night offensively, but I also noticed that he didn't commit a foul tonight. Just in his position, being a big man, how difficult is that? And how do you still play great defense with, not giving up any fouls?
I think if you look at the start of the game, they were going to Lee pretty heavy. I think he had 9 points out of their 15 in the first war. And, we tried to make more of an effort to crowd him when he caught the ball down there. But, sometimes he just caught it, ripped it, and drove right by DJ. So he didn't even have a chance to foul him. But, for him to be on the floor and, do what he did, 9 for 12 again, he just gives you such a presence out there, throwing the ball in. But, I think Colin used up all his fouls and Collins.
Are you surprised at the variety of makes that Dwight is able to utilize in the paint near the bucket? A lot of guys have a go-to move. He's got about 5, it seems like.
Yeah, when you watch him, the games in practice, he's unorthodox in a sense. Like, he's got phenomenal touch. And sometimes he'll just flip it up there. Sometimes he'll reverse it. And he's got a knack to score, and he's just got soft touch. And he's able to, bank it in off the glass, nice soft, jump hook. So he can score in a variety of ways.
Coach, today, among other days, early in the week you talked about wanting your offense to be a bit more aggressive, but also kind of reducing foul trouble. With Dwight getting 19 points and Sears being very aggressive in the paint, but Dwight not getting any fouls, is this kind of the step you want to take? Is this what you've kind of been emphasizing, kind of reducing fouls and then kind of even being more aggressive in the paint, even when your three-pointers aren't as good as they are, to kind of make up for it?
Yeah, the threes that we got were really good looks, and like I told our guys at halftime, keep shooting. They're going to be there. And the way they guard you, they go under ball screens. They played their 3-2 zone. London got, a couple of threes in the corner. Those are going to be there, and we're going to make those. But the whole key is the whole paint touches and post touches. When we do that, our offense is really good. And, the last couple of games, we've been able to do that. To have 44 out of your 81 points in the paint, just makes everything easier.
Coach, with 2 minutes and 18 seconds left in the first, you guys are up by 5. And then about 12 minutes later, you guys are up by 25. It was a 28-8 run. What did you like seeing from the guys defensively during that long period of time?
Yeah, I think, the end of the first half was huge. To go, like you said, from 5 to 12, he had great momentum. And it wasn't an ideal start. It was a train wreck defensively. We let them, they were too comfortable. They were going to Lee, and, we weren't closing out, very hard on Freeman, number 12, hit a couple threes. So, we talked about at halftime, coming out with more of an urgency. And, I thought our defense created offense, and, we were able to push, from, 12 points to 20 and, maintain that lead pretty, steadily.
Seems like Mark is getting more confident with every game he plays, but did he take it a little too far with that breakaway dunk, or at least that dunk attempt?
No, he's very athletic. He's got a 40-inch vertical, and I think maybe time. He's probably a little tired. He was, I think, played extended minutes at that point. But if it's a closer game, maybe. But he can definitely do it.
Are you surprised at his ability to give your team instant offense, given his relative inexperience at this level?
Well, I think, if you would ask me that question, game 1 or 2 when he played, I would have said yeah. But now, he's proven it, he's done it, and he's so shifty. He doesn't practice. You can't keep him in front. And when he gets an angle on you, he's got great finishing ability. He creates contact, and gets to the free throw line. And his ability to get downhill just adds a whole different dimension to our offense.
Jeff, you're probably aware, but your next two opponents were supposed to play tonight, and that game was postponed. Is that just part and parcel for what this season is? Do you pay that kind of stuff any attention, or are you really just trying to take each day as it comes with the uncertainty of everything?
Yeah, I think you go day by day. I mean, you look at Western. I mean, they're down 2 starters. Probably a different game with those guys in there. Last game against Akron, they played them tough for whatever minutes, and we're down B. Artist, White, Titus, and Cruz, and just that's kind of how it is. I mean, ideally, it's not ideal to have Buffalo get a little extra rest, going into play them, but we had the same kind of situation with Ball State, when we had our game canceled. So it's kind of the nature of what's going on.
Do you find yourself already at this stage making plans for next Tuesday because of the uncertainty, because Central is potentially going to be really cutting it close to play again by then?
Yeah, I think it's way too early. With this virus, you just never know. Normally it takes 2 to 5 days to load up to get to a point where you test positive. And, I don't even know if I heard he had symptoms. I don't know if he tested positive, but, they'll go back, I'm sure, and test everybody. And, it could be a situation where they test negative tomorrow, negative on Friday, negative Saturday, and positive test on Sunday. So, you just got to listen to your medical people and take it day by day.
Did Mason lose a tooth near the end of the game?
No, the tooth he lost before he got hit in his gum, and he's had some work done on that, and I think his gum was bleeding, so it wasn't his other tooth, thankfully. It looked like a hockey player.
Did you ever lose a tooth, Jeff?
I did. I got elbowed, and one of the most painful things ever. I got elbowed back home in a pickup game while I was in college. And I took my front tooth and I pulled it back and pushed it up in. And the nerves that are in that canal wasn't fun. So, yeah.
Do you have a hard time explaining that to your college team when you came back?
Actually, I saved it, but I ended up losing it like years down, because when you don't get the blood through the root, that's when it dies, and you have to get a fake one. So I got a fake tooth too. Mason and I got one thing in common.